Chudnow from Radiohead, and I must tell you the secret sauce that you need is Tremolo.
Who the fuck? But what is tremolo? Well past me, tremolo is an audio effect that takes the incoming signal and modulates it over time. Basically just means it turns the volume up and down. Our pedal will have controls to control the speed at which this modulation happens and its depth. So basically how much it turns down. If the depth is set low, you get a nice fluttery sound. If it's set high, you get this crazy on-off type of sound. Thanks for the explanation past me, but how does our pedal actually work? Alright, so your guitar gets routed out through a cable, comes into the pedal through a 1/4-inch jack. Inside the pedal, there are 2 PCBs, one for the actual effect and one for the foot switch. Your guitar signal gets routed straight to the foot switch and then routed into the effect PCB. On this PCB, there's all sorts of components like transistors, resistors, capacitors, all that fun stuff. Once it gets affected by all that, it comes out back to the foot switch PCB, and from here it gets routed to another 1/4-inch jack out. From here you can go to, other pedals or to your amp or, whatever you got going on. But what's going on inside all those little components, man? Seems like magic. Yeah, for sure, bro. Definitely magic. Here's all the parts I'm using. We've got our PCB, resistors, capacitors, diode, transistors, potentiometers, one for depth, one for speed. For the enclosure, foot switches, foot switch PCB, power jacks, audio jacks, got our knobs, and an LED. You'll also need an enclosure of some sorts. For drilling the enclosures, I'm just using the 2 step bits that you see right here, and then I'm also just going to be using some sandpaper. If I was smart, we'd probably put this on a breadboard first and make sure it works and sounds the way we want to, but I'm probably not going to do it. We're just going to wing it, see what happens. For the tools I'm using today, soldering iron, solder sucker, got a multimeter, pair of tweezers, and then just a pair of wire snippers. So I'm all set up to start putting stuff on this PCB now. I'm gonna start with the resistors, and then the capacitors, diode, and then the transistors. After that, I'll throw the pots on here and we'll do some testing. So now that we have most of our components on the PCB, I'm just gonna attach the 2 pots with these little jumper wires. So this is my setup for testing. Basically what we have going on here is I've loaded a loop onto this loop station that's going into this box. This is basically just a foot switch, and then we have different alligator clips for input and output, and then power, positive, and ground. Those are just connected to our PCB with these alligator clips, and when I play this loop we should hear it come through my amp, which I gotta turn on. Okay, so we've got it all hooked up now. I've got the knobs on here set to full, so whenever I engage it, we should definitely hear it kick on. I'm gonna play this loop, and then I'll kick on the effect. So it seems to be working pretty good. Let's move on to the next step. So now I'm gonna finish drilling out this enclosure. I just have to do the 2 audio jacks on the side, the 2 for the pots, and the 1 LED. And then after that, I'll show you guys how I get it all wired up with the foot switch and stuff. So we've gotten our enclosure all drilled out and looking nice. Next, I'm gonna be wiring up the foot switch to this little PCB, and then we'll get it all stuffed in here. So I know it's a little messy up here, but right now we've got our foot switch on and inside the pedal along with our power jack, and we're just gonna kind of start putting these pieces in, and we're gonna wire it all together. All right, we got everything in the enclosure. Now it's time to just test it out.